Welcome to Loire! If there's a wine region in Europe that has my heart, it's the Loire. It's known as the Garden of France because it's so lush, fertile, and exquisitely beautiful. Winding between vibrant cities, charming small towns, and illustrious castles is the Loire River, the longest in France and the lifeblood of my favorite French wine region. Yes, I'm playing favorites. From crisp Muscadet, fruity rosés, savory Chenin Blanc, floral Cabernet Franc, and aromatic Sauvignon Blanc, this diverse and authentic region made me completely reimagine what wine is and can be, and I can't wait to explore it with you. So welcome to Loire, and welcome to V is for Vino. Loire is southwest of Paris and one of France's longest wine regions, spanning over 500 miles from east to west. So when visiting, you need to make a choice. Start in the Tours area and work your way to the coast, or do what we're doing. Start in Nantes and work your way east. Once you touch down in Paris, it's just a 2.5-hour train ride or a 4.5-hour car ride to Nantes.
Welcome to Nantes, France's 6th largest city and the gateway to Loire. This city has a lot to offer. It's less than an hour from the Atlantic and is known for its vibrant culture, history, fresh seafood, and eclectic art scene. A notable contributor to Nantes' rich history is the Castle of the Dukes of Brittany, built in the 13th century. Looking for something a bit more modern? There's all sorts of incredible large-scale art installations strewn across the city. You can even check out Les Machines de l'Île, or the Machines of the Isle, an exhibit built in 2007 showcasing giant robotic animals inspired by the works of author Jules Verne and mechanical creations of Leonardo da Vinci. Don't get too distracted though, because we're about to kick off our journey into historic Loire wine country.
Like much of France, wine growing in Loire began way back with the Romans, about 2,000 years ago. In the Middle Ages, Benedictine and Cistercian monasteries helped refine winemaking techniques and knowledge. But it was during the Gothic and Renaissance periods from the 15th to 17th centuries that the wines from Loire became favorites of the French nobility. They became popular in Paris as it was easy to transport them via boat downriver, 50 boats per day at the region's height. The beauty of the Loire River also made it a popular destination for wealthy residences, and many of the castles that are hallmarks of the region today were built during this time. In the 18th century, as transport technology improved, wines were frequently exported to places like England and the Netherlands. But this same technology also allowed regions from other areas of France to cut into Loire's wine monopoly. Add to that the French Revolution and phylloxera in the 19th century proved tough for the area. But once a solution to phylloxera was found, Loire rebuilt and established its formal AOC system, which set itself up for success in the 20th century and beyond. This provided formal guidelines for geographical boundaries, winemaking techniques, and grapes.
Today, the region is not only known for its diverse grapes and styles, but also for being a bit avant-garde, kind of like the city of Nantes itself. Loire was one of the first places in France to adopt widespread sustainability measures, and winemakers here aren't afraid to try new techniques. They respect tradition, but also adapt to consumer trends quickly. They made light, floral, fruity wines before the recent generations latched onto them. Natural wines are also fairly popular here, as 85% of vineyards are farmed sustainably or organically. Even biodynamic designations are common. The best way I can describe these wines? Fun, unassuming, light, and super versatile with food, one of my favorite qualities. With so many wine styles being made in one region, it only makes sense that Loire has a ton of land to choose from and for us to explore.
Loire is located fairly far north in France. In fact, only the regions of Champagne, Alsace, and Chablis are farther. This northern latitude means the climate of Loire is quite cool, and cool climates lead to light, fresh wines. The region follows the 628-mile-long Loire River and is the third largest wine area in France at 172,000 acres, about the same acreage as the Rhone Valley. Loire can be broken up into 5 sub-regions, but we'll be saving the most eastern 2, Centre-Loire, known for Sancerre and Puy-Fumé, and Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, for a separate episode, because there's so much to cover here in the main 3 areas where around 75% of the region's wine is made. Starting in the west in Nantes, you have a cool, wet, maritime climate from the influence of the Atlantic Ocean. The soil here is mostly granite, and the grape grown here is Melon Blanc, sometimes called Melon or Melon de Bourgogne. There are 4 primary AOCs, 1 large appellation and 3 smaller ones, and they all produce a white wine called Muscadet. These wines are bone dry, crisp, super high in acidity, and full of green apples, citrus, green pears, sometimes stone fruit, and a signature salinity from the soil. They're often aged sur lie, or on the dead yeast cells, to help give them more weight and texture. We'll be going over Anjou-Saumur and Touraine in detail throughout the episode, but for now what you need to know is that the further east you go, the more continental the climate and the more varied the soils. Everything from schist, limestone, tuffeau, clay, flint, sand, and gravel can be found. This means a huge variety of grapes can be grown. Across over 30 AOCs, you'll find grape varieties like Grolot, Gamay, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and others. But the 2 most popular by far are Chenin Blanc for white and Cabernet Franc for red.
The fact that the Loire is so large means that you can find every style of wine in this region. White, rosé, and red, still, sparkling, and sweet. So our plan for this trip is to start here in Nantes, work our way through Anjou-Saumur and Touraine, and end in the city of Tours, all while trying as many wines as we can. But before we continue our journey, Nantes is known for one other thing: seafood, paired with the local wine Muscadet. And I hear there's a place nearby that does this pairing best.
This is La Cigale, which is quite possibly the prettiest brasserie in France. In fact, the space itself is an officially protected historic monument. Built in 1895 in the Art Nouveau style, it exemplifies all the traditional brasserie characteristics taken up to 11. High ceilings, a boisterous atmosphere, an extensive drink list, and simple yet delicious fare, as explained by manager Julien.
This place is beautiful.
It's a very historical restaurant for us in Nantes, 130 years old. It survived the 2 world wars.
Was it always a restaurant?
It's always been a brasserie, serving classical, traditional French food.
What should we get?
We are a region of white wine, so you're gonna have to try some fish, which pairs very well with the wines.
And lucky for me, this was covered, because I was dining with winemaker Francois Lebeau, who brought his family's Muscadet wines along with him.
Talk about Muscadet in a general sense.
So Muscadet is the name of the AOP, and Melon de Bourgogne or Melon B is the name of the grape variety.
I mean, this has such ocean character.
Exactly.
It really, really
You
is
can
fun.
feel the sea salt, the sea
100%.
breeze. Muscadet goes from green apples, pears, citrus fruit to white fruit and flowers. It has a style that is very fresh. It brings a lot of energy and some kind of acidity, of course.
I do think that there's not really a better shellfish wine than Muscadet. I know a lot of people say they love champagne with shellfish, but to me, sometimes the bubbles get in the way of things.
Every single fish restaurant should have at least 2 Muscadet on the wine list.
I think value-wise, the entire Loire, but especially Muscadet, is almost a bit underrated. It's kind of like a hidden gem of even the Loire Valley.
At the time where Burgundy, white Burgundy, Sancerre, Chablis are getting so high, this is a very good option, very serious option.
Speaking of shellfish, here was Julien right on cue.
Oh, wow.
Wow!
This is as happy as I get.
So enjoy, guys.
Thank you.
Bon appétit. So this wine is a plot selection named Bellabor. It's like schist. It's 50 years old vines. It's organic farm, picked by hand. And then it's an aging on the lees for 9 months on the lees.
This has 9 months on the lees. A lot of people think when they have light, crisp white wines, there's not much effort, right? But this sits for almost a year, but what you get from that is more texture, right?
Exactly. In the Muscadet region, we do not use so much oak barrels. We use underground concrete vats.
Concrete.
Yes, they are part of our history also. The lees aging brings some flavor to the wines, but there's no oak, there's no vanilla, there's no caramel.
No, it brings creaminess and richness without bringing flavor.
Exactly.
It's great.
These are Bleu.
Like a snail, sea snail. Oh yeah, look at that. This is not for the faint of heart, I suppose. Oh, it's really good. This seems like more work than reward here.
You got to catch them. That's the national sport here.
Did you get it right away? I can't even get it.
Here it is.
Just a little bite. Barely worth the effort.
Muscadet and shellfish are a traditional classic pairing. The acid in the wine cuts through the protein-rich fish, the citrus flavors in the wine act like a squeeze of lemon, the salinity in the wine matches the salt in the seafood, and the lighter-bodied Muscadet doesn't overwhelm the delicate dish. And of course, local seafood from the Atlantic and local wine produced just a few miles away is a grows-together, goes-together match.
Clisson is a cru Muscadet. It's a village appellation from the region. Melon de Bourgogne is a bit like Chardonnay. It's gonna tell you the place where it comes from. Clisson is a good example, comes from granite. That comes from an old mountain chain. Every cru Muscadet has a different bedrock. You can feel the terroir.
What should people expect from these wines?
We put all the best in this cru. These are 50 years old vines, organic certified, picked by hand, 2 years of aging on the lees.
Before having a sip, wildly different nose. That creaminess, if the first one was maybe a bit on the lighter side, this is a medium-bodied wine. The fruit character is definitely more defined. If the first wine was in green land, this is more in yellow land. It stays on your palate for longer when you drink it.
Candied citrus.
Candied citrus. There's a spice component coming from only the lees, right?
From a specific technique we use in the region that is named bâtonnage, lees steering. We steer the lees into the tank every month.
There's just more happening. Like I've had a couple sips now, it's changed a couple times.
South exposure, surrounded by a wall, you get a little more power.
Julien brought out the next course, pan-fried codfish with fresh peas and Iberian chorizo, and free-range pork ribs, glazed with a reduction, served with tomatoes and summer vegetables.
I'm gonna ask you a selfish question. Can I have one more bite of the pork?
Of course.
It's so good.
How nice it is to share a meal together.
This makes me happy. This is a good first day.
A good introduction to the Loire.
Yeah, it's the truth.
These cru Muscadet really are incredible. It's still got great acidity, meaning it can stand up to any acidic sauce, match well with salty dishes, or cut through richness of fatty proteins. But because they have a bit more weight than their entry-level counterparts, their medium body can stand up to heavier dishes, like pan-seared fish or pork.
Knowing the geology, knowing the level of care that's being put into the wines, I mean, it completely changes the way I see them. I had no idea that these wines could be this.
And now, with my brothers and sisters and many winemakers from the region, we promote this cru system and we really want to always improve, always improve.
Yeah. Thank you again for walking me through your family history and let me taste the wine.
I'm glad to welcome you in Nantes.
The castles, or chateaux in Loire, define its landscape. They're tied to this region similar to the Empire State Building in New York, or Big Ben in London. There are over 300 of them dotted throughout the area, on top of hills, along the water, in the water. Some were built as early as the 10th century, but most were built during the Renaissance around the 15th. When King Charles VII fled Paris for Tours during the 100 Years' War, France's nobility followed suit and brought with them the best designers and architects to make these structures that even hundreds of years later are still standing. Today, some are abandoned, some are hotels, some are museums. Most were never wineries, but they're tied to wine nonetheless. Many chateaux were surrounded by vines and had extensive cellars within them, and the nobles who resided in them often supported the local vineyards. So it's fitting and quite lucky that the vineyards here are still associated with these grand structures. Because while most chateaux no longer house nobility, with a glass of Loire wine in hand, you can't blame a guy for feeling a little royal.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the episode. I wanted to talk to you briefly about Vino VIP. You see, we're a small team. There we are. We're not backed by a big studio or corporation. We rely on sponsorships and our fans to help us grow and continue to create content. So we started Vino VIP, our membership-only club, which is full of a ton of amazing benefits, almost all of which are virtual, by the way, which means you can join from anywhere in the world. Things like early, ad-free access to all our videos, virtual Zoom hangouts with me, members-only content, your name in the credits, monthly raffles and discounts, and access to our Facebook community so you can meet other members and get travel and wine tips. But most importantly, you get my gratitude because you're supporting the show and you're helping our small business and crew make content that we pledge will always be free and accessible, because that's our mission. Membership starts at just $5 a month, which is less than the price of your morning latte. So if this show has brought you value, please head to viasorvino.com to sign up for Vino VIP if you have the means. And now, back to the episode. I mentioned that Loire is my favorite French wine region, and it's because it brings together so many elements that I love. Being cool climate, wines are always fresh, low in alcohol, and have great acidity. Being old world means the wines tend to have a mineral component in their flavors, which is something I tend to prefer. And being so large means there's no shortage of grapes and styles to choose from. And the wines, for the most part, are really affordable. So if I ever had to choose one region to drink for the rest of my life, I think Loire may be the pick. With that, let's get to know a few of its main areas, keeping in mind that there are a lot of AOCs here, so we'll only be scratching the surface.
In the Loire, from a grape perspective, the red grape Cabernet Franc is the most planted, followed by the white grape Chenin Blanc. But from a style perspective, most of the wine is not red. 81% is either white, rosé, or sparkling, and Loire is actually France's leading producer of white AOC wine. Let's head to the map. We'll skip Nantes since you already know about it. There are 3 very large regional AOCs, Anjou, Saumur, and Touraine, that produce a little bit of everything, including Crémant de Loire. This is a traditional method sparkling wine most often made with Chenin Blanc, but it may also include other varieties, as up to 9 different grapes are allowed. Speaking of Chenin, there's a few areas famous for it. Voreux is known for its diversity of styles from the grape, while Savennières is known specifically for dry, age-worthy versions, and the AOCs Bonnezeau, Coteau de Léon, and Quart de Chaume are known for their sweet but try-to-size styles. Rosé is made everywhere, but 3 designations are worth calling out. The Rosé de Loire AOC makes dry rosé only, while Rosé d'Anjou and Cabernet d'Anjou make off-dry to sweet rosé wines full of ripe watermelon and strawberry flavors. While red Cabernet Franc wines are made by many AOCs, Chinon and Bourgogne make famously tannic, structured versions of the grape, while Saumur, Champagny, and Saint-Nicolas du Bourgogne make softer versions. Finally, peppered across Touraine's varied soils, you'll find other grapes. Many of the Sauvignon Blancs in particular are wonderful. Aromatic, floral, citrusy, and zesty.
Chenin Blanc, the grape that changed how I view wine. What makes this grape so special is its versatility. Chenin is capable of making racy sparkling wines, age-worthy dry styles, off-dry styles, fresh styles, simple styles, and even luscious dessert wines. From a structural standpoint, this wine is high in acid and medium in body and alcohol, and its sugar content can range from dry or sec on the label, to off-dry or demi-sec, to sweet, which is moelleux or doux. When it comes to flavors, I often think yellow. Yellow apple, yellow pear, yellow stone fruit, lemon, quince, honey, and yellow flowers like chamomile and honeysuckle, all wrapped in a great spine of minerality. But I also describe Chenin Blanc as the red wine lover's white wine because it's capable of some beautiful savory notes, especially with age. Waxy, wool, lanolin, hay, bruised or fermented fruits, smoke, almonds, and even mushrooms. I'll be honest, almost every time I give Chenin Blanc to somebody who's never tasted it before, it ends up becoming a new favorite, much like the first time that I tried it. Another fun wine that really finds its proverbial home in Loire, Cabernet Franc. It's often a part of Bordeaux blends made across the globe, but the Loire gets credit for making the best expressions of it as a single varietal. Like all of this region's wines, Cab Franc is fresh and energetic, with medium plus acidity, low to medium alcohol and body, and medium tannins. I describe Cabernet Franc as rustic, savory, and floral. There are red fruit flavors like cherry, raspberry, currant, and plum, but I more associate the wine with violets, granite and gravel, spice, cinnamon, tobacco, and most notably, a roasted bell pepper note that turns slightly herbal in more refined examples. While dozens of other grapes are also found throughout Loire, the most common of them include aromatic, herbal, and citrusy Sauvignon Blanc and fruity, approachable Gamay. This array of variety, style, and tremendous value found throughout the region here has to be the best part about Loire. It just makes it so easy to explore tons of different wines without breaking the bank.
Provence seems to get all the love when it comes to French rosé, but Loire is actually the #2 producer of rosé in the country. 3 AOCs here, Rosé de Loire, Cabernet d'Anjou, and Rosé d'Anjou, are only allowed to make rosé. So talk about specializing. Venturing further into the Anjou region, I head to Domaine Leduc Franc, where I met the brother and sister team of Nathalie and Antoine to taste some of these unique wines.
We are in Anjou, in the Loire Valley. We are in the little beautiful village, Souzigné.
With about 50 persons in the village.
50 people, so you know
Yes.
everybody in the village.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Your brother and sister, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the family is here since 1873.
1873.
Yes.
They showed me the Falon, or sedimentary rock of sandy limestone that has ancient marine shells and coral in it.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's an ancient seashell.
Voilà.
Very similar. I mean, you associate that with like Chablis, for instance, but I didn't know that you also have it here.
We
Very
have.
cool.
Yes.
We have. Yes.
Oh wow, this is wild.
Yes.
Look at this. So this is the same rock,
Yes,
and you kind
yes,
of
it's
carved it
all-
out.
Everywhere.
This is not only good for contributing minerality to the wines planted in it, but can easily be carved and hollowed out to make caves. Winemakers throughout the region use these troglodyte caves year-round for cellars because the temperature stays a consistently cool 55 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity. Perfect for storing wine.
It's even colder in here.
Yes.
Very sustainable. You don't need to use refrigeration
Yes,
or
of course.
it's all
Yes.
natural, which is really, really nice.
We are very proud of these old cellars.
Wow, this one's pretty extensive.
The crew and I took a break and had some Crémant de Loire over lunch. Lisa got to know their cats, and we set up for our tasting.
I love that this region stresses the importance of rosé production. Most other places in the world, when they make rosé, they just make it as like another wine in their portfolio. But here, there's actual AOCs that are just for rosé.
In this region, we produce 3 styles of rosé. The Rosé de Loire is the first rosé, the dry, and the famous Rosé d'Anjou and Cabernet, little sweet rosé wine. It's the same area to produce this wine.
The difference is the grapes.
The difference is
The
the grapes.
style of
Yes.
grapes.
And the style, and also I think the sugar level, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
This one you said is the driest one, right?
Yes. So this is the Rosé de Loire.
Very beautiful color.
Like a rose petal, darker than maybe a traditional kind of super pale salmon rosé. I like the darker color.
Yes, because the level of the maturity of the grape is very good. So of course we have color.
And maybe a little more extraction. Does it sit on the skins a little
Yes,
longer?
and with this rosé is gros lot and some Cabernet.
Okay.
So because of the Cabernet, the color is nice.
It smells
The smell is,
primary.
oh my gosh, fresh, ripe
Right.
strawberries. And you get it on the palate, but it's almost like white strawberry on the palate and lots of citrus and good
Yes, so-
floral character. And you said the other grape that's in here is Grelot, right?
The gros lot is a very typical grape from Anjou.
What does it do to the blend?
It's light, fresh, light, fruity, balanced, because they give acidity.
These are different than Provence rosés. Provence rosés tend to be, in my opinion, a bit lighter, a bit more on the citrus side. I like the berry component of this. Dude, this is like some grilled fish. Like,
Yes.
All right, so now we go to the second wine, which is a different AOC. This is Rosé d'Anjou. The difference is what grapes you're allowed to use, and then the sugar, right? This is gonna have a little bit of residual sugar.
Yes, so the difference is about the winemaking.
Because this wine is sweeter.
It's like if you took the fruit that from this one and you candied it, right? It's like candied
Yes.
strawberry now.
It's very crunchy.
Very easy to recognize this Rosé d'Anjou style, of course.
There's rose candy, like rose water
Yes.
candy.
A very fresh style.
Oh, that's interesting.
Easy to understand the difference.
Easy to understand the
easy.
difference. It is very similar to this in weight and style, but the
When you
acidity
taste-
tones back, and it's not because it has less acidity, it's because it has sugar. Because the sugar kind of adds a little weight and a little waxiness to the texture.
So I prefer as an aperitif.
It's not so sweet that it's candy, but it's just really refreshing.
Cabernet d'Anjou so means the grape is Cabernet.
Ooh, this has a spiciness
More,
to the
yes,
nose.
and more complex.
And this has slightly more sugar too.
And less acidity.
And more weight. I mean, I would say
Yes.
this is a good solid medium to medium plus body for especially for a rosé. Probably has a little tannin, can go with some different foods because of that.
So spicy food, for example.
With the meat of duck, it's very good too.
Oh, duck? You do like a Chinese 5-spice duck?
Yes.
You get that
Yes.
spice character? That would be great with this. This is fun. I actually kind of like all the expressions. They're all a little different.
Yes, 3 very different wines.
I love it.
After our tasting, Antoine popped some older vintages of Coteaux de Lion dessert wine, and it was so good each crew member ended up walking out with a few bottles. Loire is full of these small family wineries where you'll get the personal touch, so don't be afraid to venture off the beaten path and into some authenticity. Château de Brissac in the Anjou area is one of France's oldest family estates. And the Duke of the Château, Charles-André de Brissac, though he goes by Charlie, graciously offered to say a quick hello, which of course I had to take him up on. I mean, how often do you get to meet a duke?
Brissac is a chateau de famille. It has always been in the family since May 1502, and we are the 17th generation.
Wow.
Today, we open it to visitors, young visitors, older visitors. Everybody is welcome here.
I like that it's open to the public. You know, you could gate it off if you wanted to, but I like that it's open for exploration and for people to appreciate.
It's the DNA of the castle is to be really open to everybody.
He gave us the keys to the castle, literally. So we went exploring, and I pretended it was my castle, if only for a day. Continuing our Loire journey, we head to the heart of Cabernet Franc country, right on the edge of Saumur and Touraine. 4 AOCs in particular are quite famous for this red grape, and they're all right next to each other. Bourgaille, Saint-Nicolas-du-Bourgaille, Chinon, and Saumur-Champagny. Near the town of Bourgaille is Maison Audebert-Ify, where 4th generation winemaker François Audebert tells me why making high quality Cabernet Franc is his life's work.
Audebert and Sons. So there was Sons at some point. Who was the son?
My grandfather.
Okay.
It's my great-grandfather who come here in 1920 and
1920.
who begin to sell wine.
And this is Cabernet Franc country, like almost exclusively, right?
90%. We get 10% of Cabernet Sauvignon, but it decreases each year.
You know, these wines are really affordable, borderline cheap. I don't like that word because cheap implies a lack of quality. That's something that's kind of a misconception about Cabernet Franc from here, right?
Cabernet Franc is a Loire Valley wine, and the Loire Valley was the place of the king, but who make the wine for the people. It's very complex wine, but very affordable.
I would say the entire Loire has a price to quality ratio that's hard to match in anywhere else in France.
Francois also has troglodyte caves on his property, but these are made of a pale limestone called tuffeau.
These caves have been around how long?
I think 300 years.
300
to build
years.
the castle or just here.
Tuffeau is a bit stronger than the Fallon from Anjou and was often excavated to build the castles of the area. And today, Francois does more than store his wine in here. He actually conducts some of his production activities in the caves and pumps some of the cool air into the machines to keep them from overheating.
I think it's important to say that it is 90 degrees outside. It is very hot. It is cold in here. It's not even like, oh, it's a little bit. It's 40 degrees colder in here.
Yes.
It's crazy.
We set up for a side-by-side tasting of 3 of the appellations, Chinon, Saint-Nicolas du Bourgogne, and Bourgogne, starting with the Chinon.
Cabernet Franc, favorite grape of mine. And while other places in the world do it, either in Bordeaux blends, sometimes on its own, there's nothing like it from here. It is very unique.
What I want to show you is how the ground interferes with the taste of the wine.
So you said the soil here is sand.
Very rich sand. It's a very specific place to have very rich and round wine.
In general, I think when people kind of get an introduction to Loire Valley Cabernet Franc, Chinon's usually the place they start. It's one of the larger appellations that makes Cabernet Franc, right?
Yes, it's 2,500 hectares.
The ruby red nose that you get, this beautiful cherry, raspberry character, very, very hallmark of Cabernet Franc.
Sun. It's a mark of the sun.
Yeah.
It's 22 and it's very sunny here.
I always get on Cabernet Franc, especially Chinon, cinnamon. I always get this cinnamon spice. And what's really amazing is it's not from the oak, it's a grape characteristic.
Ripe Cabernet Franc.
Yeah. Right, it's got to get ripe to get that.
The most complicated thing is to have ripe fruit and not overripe, to have the more balanced wine.
From a structure standpoint, you get this light structure that is indicative of some lighter styles of Pinot. Not super high tannins, great freshness, great acidity. This is a light wine. This is an easy drinking wine while still having ripeness.
Exactly. It's a very accessible wine. It's here to help you to need another drink. Now it's Saint Nicolas. And here, field of 50 years old, located on the gravel. In the middle of the mouth, you got little tannin who give some fresh sensation. And the wine add very quickly, but like fireworks.
You can taste the soil. You
Yes.
get that gravel, granite, graphite nose and palate. Right away you can taste it. Like if you do them side by side, you could be a novice in wine, you would still smell that and taste that. Chinon, there's all different types of soils. Saint-Nicolas, usually gravel soil,
Yes.
usually a bit more structure, right? I'd call it medium minus if I
Yes.
was doing it on a
Exactly.
exam. Medium minus.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are on Bourgogne North with limestone.
Has the most structure, the most tannin than the other two.
The limestone, compared to gravel or sand, it's very fat.
Yeah.
And the end never end.
This starts to become more savory than fruity.
It's more full body wine, complexity wine.
Because this has a bit more tannin structure, that's the recipe for a wine that can actually lay down and age.
With 2020, we can age maybe 25 to 30 years.
Wow. See, people associate these wines with light, fresh,
Yes.
drink tomorrow wines. And listen, that exists. This is that. The first wine, the Chinon, But when I'm going to maybe a nicer dinner, I'm bringing a bottle, I want to impress somebody, I go with this.
Yes.
Maybe 10 plus years old. Perfect. I love that all these wines have the core of what I like about the grape. Red fruit land, you get the spice component, you get the floral component, but I find that it's the structure and the earth component that change from wine to wine.
Here it's the same winemaker. 3 totally different wine because of the ground.
I've never done a Cabernet Franc tasting like this. I grab a bottle of Cabernet Franc because I always know it's going to be solid, but now I actually understand the difference between the different AOCs and the different soils.
Yes.
And that's super helpful, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But my time with Francois wasn't over quite yet. The Moulin Bleu, or the Blue Windmill, is a little family-owned restaurant located literally right next to Francois' vineyards. Husband and wife team, Chef Michel and Chantal, turn out homey fare in a cozy atmosphere, and Francois had picked a few dishes to pair with 3 of his Bourgogne wines across several vintages. Starting with a poached egg with mushrooms in red wine gravy.
Oh, look at that.
Calm down, Vince. We gotta talk about the wine first.
And we'll try 3 vintage. First, it's 18, richest and beautifulest vintage I ever vinificated.
Wow, so this one is the one that we wish we could fast forward about 20 years and just see where it's at.
Exactly.
A nose that has the earth character that I expect from great Pinot Noir, which is wild to get on a Cabernet Franc. Oh, but on the palate, still silky. I'm kind of impressed.
If it's good, I say it's not my fault. It's because of the ground, it's because of the weather.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, how this is just a killer vintage. Oh, really good.
Next was slow braised veal with more mushrooms and red wine sauce.
Merci, madame.
And I should mention that the sauce was made with, you guessed it, Bourgogne wine.
I bring to go with the veal 15, a more balanced vintage.
This is very, very different wine from the exact same place. As you mentioned, a bit fresher.
It's a very pleasant
Yeah.
vintage.
We're drying out some of the fruit character. The earth character is starting to pop through a bit more.
And at the end, you will have mushroom.
Maybe that's why I'm saying woodsy, is that mushroom character. That's what I'm referring to. That is so awesome. The mushroom character, matching the mushroom in the dish and in the sauce.
That's what I choose.
By the way, we've had a dining partner all evening. This restaurant is so cute, and one of the things you said was any animals that need help, need a home, need food, she takes care of them, right?
It's a paradise of all animals, even human.
Yeah. Not that I need any more, because this has been an incredible experience, but you have one more.
I insist.
I won't say no.
Because you don't believe me. If I tell you that Bourgogne can age, here I have a vintage 209 who can age because of its tannin.
Tannin is that natural preservative.
Natural antioxidant.
Not the same place. So not only do you get the mushroom and the woodsy,
Yes.
I start to get this dried orange peel, dried flower. It is elegant, it is soft. It still has some tannin.
Nervous.
Which means it can still go a few more years.
Yes. From now, I think 10 years is okay.
But that's wild to me, that this wine that is known as this kind of fun, don't think too hard wine, we're already at about 15 years, and we can go another 10.
Loire Valley is like that.
This rivals great wines from other regions. I keep bringing the parallels of Burgundy because it does have a lot of those same flavors. You're still in red fruit land, but you're in this woodsy, earthy, mushroomy land, but you would pay a fraction of the cost.
It's for normal people.
Yeah, for normal people, that's it. If you're getting into wine and you're like, where can I try great examples, what we call the blue chip examples, you know, the best version of the wine, I can't do that in every region. I can do that in the Loire.
The Loire Valley, yes.
Yeah. This was awesome. I know we have more food coming, but thank you again for taking me through this.
No, you're welcome.
If a giant choose-your-own-adventure cheese board and elegant aged Cabernet Franc doesn't make you happy in this life, nothing will. It's worth noting that I didn't ask Francois to bust out some of his most expensive and rare wines. He absolutely insisted that I try them. I even told him I may not have time in the episode to show them all, and he said he still wanted me to taste them nevertheless. As he mentioned and then proved, Loire is for the people, indeed. Did you know that on our website, each episode has a page where you can find listed all the wines we had, as well as the places we visited. And while you're there, you can join Vino VIP and visit our members-only section with a ton of behind-the-scenes videos and bonus content. Just thought I'd let you know. Most chateaux in Loire have immaculately manicured gardens that you can get lost in, exploring on your own or perhaps romantically perusing with your significant other. And because my wife Lisa was on this trip with me, we decided to visit one of the most stunning gardens of all. Besides being a beautiful castle in its own right, Château de Chaumont-sur-Loire hosts the International Garden Festival each year, where dozens of artists each get a section of the grounds to transform into their own creation. And since the theme changes annually, you can come back to visit again and again for a new experience. Our final winery stop brought us east of Tours to the appellation of Voreux, which is famous for its Chenin Blanc made in all four major styles: sparkling, dry, off-dry, and sweet. So I was quite excited to visit the famous Domaine Champalou. I met 13th generation Vouvray winemaker Céline Champalou in her vineyard with her pup to learn about the bats, birds, and flowers that help keep her vines healthy.
We plant this fallow to help the biodiversity.
Yeah, so it's not just to look pretty, it's because you bring all these insects and bugs and all these things which basically help pollinate and keep the vineyard healthy, right?
Yes, the important things in a sustainable viticulture is to don't see just the vineyards, but see the vineyard in all the environments. We have the teat, these little birds who will come eat some worm who can be dangerous and difficult.
The birds know I can come here, I can eat, but they're also going to eat the bad stuff.
Yes, we are organic and sustainable, so we don't use any chemical products, but we have to protect our vineyards. And also it's like you, when your immune defense is strong, because you help, you are stronger.
Vouvray is one of the most famous appellations in the world for Chenin Blanc. In fact, this is all Chenin Blanc, right?
100% Chenin
100%,
Blanc.
It's all you make.
Yeah.
I love places that specialize in one thing because they get really, really good at it.
We are quite good in Vouvray for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you a secret that I don't normally say on camera, which is I think Chenin Blanc from Loire is maybe my favorite white wine.
Yes.
It really, really is special.
I agree with you.
So I am very, very excited.
Guess what? Céline is also using troglodyte caves as her cellars, so to escape the summer heat, we decided to set up downstairs, which I thought was a good idea, but basically meant we were doing the tasting in a refrigerator. Alas, we press on.
What makes sparkling wine from Vouvray distinct?
You have the minerality, but you have also the suaveness of the fruits who give you full and ripe wine.
A lot of times in maybe a champagne, the fruit character can be a little tart. You can very easily get ripe stone fruits, ripe yellow fruits, even tropical notes from sparkling Chenin.
That's it.
Like you said, minerality right away. And then you can smell that brioche toasty character from the lees aging, which you said was about 2 to 3 years.
traditional method wine is a miracle because it takes years. You have to do the racking and the riddling, and all the bubbles occur naturally, and that's why you get such fine bubbles.
The time can give us some fine bubbles. It's not just explosion and that's it.
Yeah.
Even if it's bubble, it's not just party of aperitif. You can go and hit with. You get the tension and the structure for that.
There's actually several different styles of the still wine, and so what is this one?
This is a dry. We are used to have a dry wine less than 2 grams of residual sugar.
Okay.
Here we are about 5 grams.
Interesting, but you still call it dry. You still call it sec.
It's a dry. For Voreux, it's a dry. You are in a special place here.
Yeah.
And it came from our chalk and clay soil.
When you have chalk soils, you can almost always like pick it out in the wine.
You have the minerality.
The stone fruit is really developed. I get that flavor very strong.
You have also all the white fruits, like pear, like apple, when it's young.
And from a structure standpoint, they have a little bit of weight behind them. They have that medium body.
Yeah, a wine who is easy to drink at any time.
It's a nice down-the-middle wine that would please a lot of people.
Completely.
One of the wines that made me decide I was going to go pursue wine was actually aged Chenin Blanc. It was like I had never tasted white wine the way it was intended before. So like, I love aged Chenin Blanc.
It's a 13 vintage. It's a special cuvée because now we go in what can the Chenin be with the residual sugar. Wine with sugar can age year and year and year.
Yeah. So this is the nose that I hope everybody can experience one day. I hope this doesn't offend anybody or turn anybody off. It's very similar to like a petrol that you get from Riesling, but it's Chenin's version of it. And it sounds off-putting, but it is so fun. It's like the thing that makes these wines exciting.
Yeah, completely.
And so you get this luscious, bordering tropical fruit.
And you can have all the elegance and minerality also. You can never think that you have 25 grams of residual sugar on this wine.
No, this doesn't taste that sweet. That's what's wild about it.
This is really the terroir who can express this.
They're such great pairing wines.
No limits.
No limit. A wine like this with acidity and sugar, that's it.
We ended with 2 really special dessert wines. The first, called La Moelleuse. You see, Chenin Blanc doesn't ripen evenly. Some bunches over-ripen in the same amount of time that it takes some to develop perfectly for drier styles. So they take these grapes that over-ripened, make a special selection, and ferment them separately into a sweet wine.
La Moelleuse, we are about 80 grams of residual sugar.
80.
Yes.
It still has the freshness.
The Chenin in Voreux is always digest.
Pineapple.
You have also sometimes strawberry, but with the flowers on the nose also. Huh?
I actually get one of my other favorite Chenin characteristic, which is kind of a woolly lanolin.
The second, Laitrie, is something rare. A botryticized wine, which is a fungus that removes water content from the grapes while keeping the sugar intact. Domaine Champalou has only produced this wine in 7 vintages over the past 4 decades. It's hand-picked berry by berry, and the one we're tasting is 20 years old.
Bordering amber color.
And this one get 180 grams.
This is a wild nose. This is so much different than that.
It's special, huh?
Yeah, it's really, really special. The nose, oh my gosh. I mentioned we started to get some of that wool character here. You get that here.
Get that.
Past that, we start to get into like quince or like dried apricot.
You have the honey.
And then the honey on the palate, and then the orangey kind of marmalade-y flavor.
It's really special.
It's really, really special. Now, this is the first wine that I'll say in the tasting, like, it tastes sweet, but it's this one is meant to be sweet because what you do when you add that sugar is you really extend how long it can age. And so we have now a 20-year-old wine that is still developing just beautifully.
Yeah. For this special wine, people want always something special moment. I think they are the best in the simple moments. You go for a walk with friends and you go home with a fire. You open a wine like that, and it's a wine of moments.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it the moment wonderful. The wine will create that.
Well, I'll say 2 wonderful moments. This was a special tasting. Thank you so much for opening this and all these wines. This is
Very
really,
happy
really
to
special.
share with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mentioned earlier that Loire makes a lot of grapes outside its most planted ones, so before leaving this region, I had to find an excuse to try a few more. Right outside of Tours, we head to the restaurant La Cabane à Matelot, or the Sailor's Cabin, where chef Ambroise Voreux and his fisherman/business partner Romain Gadet have set up a simple yet efficient operation. Romain catches it, and chef cooks it.
Chef, thanks for having me at your restaurant, which overlooks the Loire River. I'm sure that was very intentional, yeah?
Yeah. But at the beginning, it was just for the fishing place. Romain began alone here. And after 2 years, I'm come here and I discover all of this. And I say, well, I want to work with him.
So when you cook, what's kind of your philosophy behind your cooking? Obviously, you're using fresh fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Fresh fish and fresh product from the Touraine, so the area here. We cook all the products from the Loire, from the gardens, from the trees. Everything is local.
And you also give tours of the river and of the area, right?
Absolutely, yeah. When the people come here, it's nice to eat, but it's nice to meet the fishermen, have a trip on the Loire River to discover all the things here.
Especially if you get to go on the river and then you get to come eat in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Which is, I guess, what I'm doing. I think Romain is waiting for me to take me fishing, yeah?
Absolutely, just over here, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go fishing and I'll let you go back to the kitchen.
Okay, all good.
You'd think by now I'd have learned my lesson when it comes to fishing on this show. But alas, I'm determined to catch a fish on camera and break my curse. Luckily, I had improved odds this time around. Romain had placed fishing nets and traps along the river the day before. All I had to do was reel them in and fill the boat with fish. A foolproof plan. Eager to prove myself worthy of the seas, I donned my fishing bib and we set out on the Loire River. The first few nets, empty. But then finally, success. Crayfish, a common bream, even a small carp. Life was good until we discovered that some of Romain's nets were cut by illegal fishermen. Not quite ready to head into battle with modern-day pirates, Romain assured me that he had the area secured with treetop cameras. This would be a case for the French authorities to solve. Relieved that we weren't about to film Pirates of the Loire River, I switched back to my normal attire. We head back to shore, not with the plentiful bounty we had hoped for, but surely enough treasures for a dinner or two. Before heading back to the restaurant, I changed into something a bit more presentable because I had a date with someone special. My wife Lisa met me for lunch, and it wasn't long before Chef had brought out the first course, a fish crudo.
So here we are, the asp, so it's the fish from the river. It's marinated with the garum de Loire, fermented sauce of fish. You have the labneh as well, is a cheese with garlic. You have a little point of citrus paste. So with that, we have the Chenin Blanc, lait de vent, as the Sauvignon, with some flavor of citrus as well.
It's my turn.
Your turn. Look at how we changed the guard.
It's very nice. One of my favorite parts of France, bread.
100%. I can't believe we haven't had any Sauvignon Blanc yet. It's one of the quintessential grapes. As you get a little more inland, you get a lot of great Sauvignon Blanc. Wait for the plane.
I know, I'm just eating. I'm just eating bread. I'm hungry.
I know, I hate to wreck it. It's very pretty.
It's very pretty. This isn't the fish you caught today, is it?
I think maybe.
So you're feeding us right now.
Sure. I'll take the credit.
I'll give you credit.
Oh, it's really good. It's really citrusy.
And it's raw?
It's raw. It's like a
looks
crudo.
raw.
It's like a
Wow.
crudo.
I was gonna say it's a lot of citrus in the dish and the wine, right? And it's supposed to match
Yeah, match flavor.
the brightness. I pay attention once in a while. I listen to you sometimes.
Yes, there are famous Sauvignon Blancs in Central Loire, but there are also incredible ones from Touraine that rival them for half the cost, full of minerality, citrus, flowers, and tropical fruits. In this case, the high-acid wine cut through the acidic citrus, as well as the fatty Lebanese yogurt. The light-bodied wine matched the weight of the dish, and the citrus flavors matched the lemon in the dish. Plus, the wine and all of the ingredients were local.
How's it feel to be on this side of the camera?
You know,
A little strange?
It's a little strange. I like eating, but with so many camera lenses on me,
Can't get any food on your face.
I feel that. I understand why you've been telling me for years that your favorite wines come from Loire.
Like, I have wines that I love from other places. I wouldn't ever want to give those up. But as a whole, this region just over-delivers.
Next course was up, the most beautiful piece of grilled mullet I've ever seen.
It's grilled on the skin, and with you have all the vegetables from the area here, carrots, beetroots, and flowers from the garden. The sauce made with crawfish.
That we caught today.
Same, yeah.
Wow.
The Gamay, a lot of fruits, really nice with fish because it's not too strong.
Gamay is just the best. It tastes like the color purple.
That's a fun way to describe it. And I like that this is also very chilled.
A lot of Loire reds, great chilled, like Cabernet Franc, great chilled. Gamay, great a little chilled, because those low tannin reds just lend to that. Also, I like red and fish, breaking some taboos. They really does go well when you do it right.
This honestly is like art. I really don't want to
Very
mess it
impressed.
up. First bite.
Delicious. There's nothing I like more than crispy fish skin.
Gamay from Beaujolais has shot up in price over the years, but Loire Gamay is still a great buy. These light, low-tannin, chillable wines are great with heavy fish or white meat dishes as they match their weight, and the earth character played really nicely with the root vegetables. The acid cut through the oily, salty fish skin, and of course, it's all local.
Chef, I'm so impressed. Everything's been so great.
Not only are you a chef, you're an artist.
I couldn't draw this, and you're making it with food.
Here we have strawberries and peach as well. We have a tomato ice cream and strawberry ice cream. And you have a cream with a black lemon. And we have some puff pastry as well. Traditional method, sparkling wine from Nicolas Paget, close to here.
Now I'm feeling good.
You feel good?
It only takes a couple glasses.
But what I like about Chenin Blanc is it gives a completely different character. Like, this doesn't taste like champagne to me. This tastes like a beautiful version of sparkling Chenin. It's rounder, it's a little fatter, it's peachy. All right, I'm going in on dessert.
This is an organic, traditional method sparkling Chenin Blanc with just a hint of residual sugar from the dosage. The sweetness means it goes great with the sugar in the dessert. The fruit flavors match all our fresh fruits in the dish. The acidity cuts through the fatty ice creams, and the bubbles match the crunch of the pastry and stone fruits. Plus, we're still all local.
What was your favorite part about Loire?
I've never seen so many castles in my life. I thought that only happens in fairy tales, but apparently we're living in a fairy tale. And then, yeah, the people of Loire, I would say.
Francois said something yesterday. This is a wine country for the people. It feels accessible, homey, it feels hospitable. The last thing I'll say is people don't get often to see you on the camera, but you're the other half of Via's Favino. So.
Oh.
You may have noticed that I was strolling through Loire with rose-colored glasses on during this episode. A big part of that is because I was joined by the love of my life, my wife, Lisa. After years of working behind the camera, it felt like the perfect time to bring her glowing personality in front of it. But the other part? Well, France has a special place in my heart. It was the first country I visited outside the US, which kickstarted the rest of my life. I fell in love with food, wine, and travel, and I vowed to keep on exploring other places in the world. And what France did for my life's journey, Loire did for my wine journey. Loire wines were there for me at the start of my career, and they've never really left. When I wanted top cuvées before I could afford them from other regions, Loire was there. When I needed crowd-pleasing wines to serve to friends with Sunday night dinners in my rundown old apartment, Loire was there. When I ate at my first Michelin restaurant, Loire was there too. And even today, for my day-to-day drinking, with all I've learned about wine, you guessed it, Loire is still here. Francois put it best. He told me Loire is the wine region you can take with you all your life. Lord knows Lisa and I have seen some gray skies in our time, some years more than others. But I'm gonna try and take the rosy outlook I had here with me. Like Celine said, not every happy moment can be planned. The small moments, the routine moments, they can be wonderful too, if you know how to see the world through rose-colored glasses. Hey, Vince here. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have a moment, follow us on Instagram. And if you really want to support, please consider joining Vino VIP on viasvino.com. It's our members-only club with a ton of benefits. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.